Welcome to Getting Started with Rumpus for Windows. Let's get started turning this standard Windows PC into a complete file transfer server. We're going to start from scratch, so the first thing I'll do is download a Rumpus trial package from the Maxim website. Once the package is downloaded, I'll run the installer as I would for any new software. The installer automatically starts Rumpus, and Rumpus starts by opening the Setup Assistant. The first step in setting up Rumpus is to choose a folder which will act as your FTP root folder. This is the top-level folder that will act as your FTP content area, which allows you to specify a very specific, restricted area of your system for FTP user access. For now, we'll stick with the default folder suggested by Rumpus. Next, create a system administration user account for yourself. User accounts in Rumpus allow you to specify who can access your server, control what folders they can access, and define what they are permitted to do. Your administration account will not only allow you to transfer files to and from the server, but configure all server options, manage user accounts, and more. Specify a name and password for your user account, and move on to the next step. The Web File Manager allows users to access the server using a standard web browser. If your PC is already running a web server, you may need to avoid a conflict by selecting an alternate port for Rumpus, but in most cases, when no other web server is running, stick with the default port and complete the Setup Assistant. That's it. This PC is now a fully functional FTP and web file transfer server. From any computer on the network, users can now connect via standard FTP client or web browser, using the access instructions displayed by Rumpus. Let's go ahead and connect from here. When users connect using a web browser, they'll be presented with the login page. Then enter their username and password to access file transfer services. Since this is a brand new server, the FTP content area is empty, but I can upload a file easily enough. And if I look at the FTP root folder on the system, I see the file has been dropped right where it was supposed to be. If I drop another file into the FTP root folder, then reload the listing page in the Web File Manager, that file becomes available to web and FTP users as well. Almost all Rumpus server administration is performed within the web interface, which allows you to manage your server from anywhere. As a system administrator, you have the option to manage user accounts and perform system setup. Spend a little time reviewing the various setup options within Rumpus. At any time, if you have a question about any function in Rumpus, click the Help icon, which opens a help sheet that covers every option on the current administration page. As a simple example, I'll replace the Rumpus 7 logo with one of my own and customize the title too. One of the first things you're likely to want to do is create an additional user account or two. Let's go ahead and create a user account for a coworker named Bob. This user needs his own content area, separate from other users and restricted from accessing all the content in the FTP root folder. So I'll edit the account create a content folder just for this user and select it as Bob's home folder. In Windows Explorer, Bob's folder appears in the FTP root. If there are any files I want to share with him, I can just copy them into his folder. When Bob connects to the server, he'll supply his user account name and password and log in. Notice that Bob's access is strictly restricted to his personal home folder. He can only see the files I placed in his folder, and he can upload files only into that folder too. That covers the basics, though of course there's a lot more to Rumpus. In addition to the web administration help pages, you'll find additional helpful materials in the Rumpus folder and on the Maxim website. Of course, if you have any questions or problems, please contact us at support@maxim.com.